I just have to get this off my chest. Why are we acting like Conor McGregor isn't the biggest combat sports star in history, and he's legitimately the only reason that the UFC is what it is today? If it was not for Conor McGregor, the UFC would be still almost an irrelevancy. Conor McGregor, in his prime, projected the sport of mixed martial arts into the mainstream. And also, let's not act like it's not still red panty night. This is by far the biggest blessing in Max Holloway's career. You want to talk about blessed? No pun intended. This is the biggest gift that Max Holloway has ever received in his entire life.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
He will get paid more money than he has ever got for any other fight. You think back when he beat Justin Gaethje in the manner that he did, that absolutely skyrocketed his star power, and it made him kind of one of these celebrity, almost larger than life type of figures in mixed martial arts. You think of Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, Khabib, these really famous fighters, John Jones, GSP, fighters that the regular average person on the street who doesn't watch the UFC every week, they may still actually know who they are, or they'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard of them. This is twice as big of an opportunity, and this will be twice as impactful to Max Holloway's career as the Justin Gaethje KO. And also, let's just take a second. When I just listed out all of the biggest names in UFC history, they're all because of Conor McGregor. Khabib
back to box. I'm gonna put him back to
would not have been fucking shit if it wasn't for Conor McGregor. The only reason Khabib ever actually became famous, got the following that he did, got the glazing that he did, he would literally have never been anything in the entire sport if it wasn't for his fight with Conor McGregor, which was the biggest UFC event in history, and it will never be topped. It will never be topped. UFC 229 will never even be close to getting topped in terms of hype. Obviously, they don't have the pay-per-view model anymore, but nothing ever came close to the pay-per-view numbers that McGregor and Khabib did. Khabib became super successful. He was able to retire early, and he got a ton of recognition from the MMA community and all around the world. That would not have happened if he only beat Dustin and Justin. People will be looking at Khabib like, oh yeah, he was a great fighter and he had a lot of talent. He would never have even came close to the star power that he did if it wasn't for his fight with Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was the one that sold that fight. Khabib was a good, almost villain type of figure if you're a McGregor fan. McGregor was a good villain type of character if you're a Khabib fan. But that fight would not have... Every McGregor fight's huge. Khabib, his only huge fight, quote unquote, was against McGregor. Dustin, Justin, those fights were big, but nothing even comparable to the McGregor fight. And you can look at that just on the numbers. People want to talk about, it pisses me off. Khabib literally would have never been famous. He would have never had the mystique and the aura that he gained simply because of Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz, one of the biggest names in the sport. He gets huge opportunities, able to headline the MVP event for Netflix, able to fight Jake Paul in boxing, able to have his own boxing fight versus Jorge Masvidal. The only reason that Nate Diaz is anything other than an irrelevant stoner who was Nick Diaz's brother, he fought a lot in the UFC. He had a huge UFC resume. He was nowhere near the star power until he fought Conor McGregor. After that famous call out, and then when he was able to beat Conor McGregor, huge upset, was able to fight him twice, Nate Diaz would not even have 2 million followers on Instagram if it wasn't for Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz should literally write a handwritten letter to Conor McGregor every single day of his life for stepping up to 170 and giving him that opportunity to fight him. It's still red panty night. Make no mistake. Like I said, Khabib, Nate Diaz, two of the biggest names in the sport. They wouldn't exist if it wasn't for McGregor. Dustin Poirier, This one grinds my fucking gears. What was it, January of 2021? Don't get me wrong, Dustin Poirier is a legend. He had a ton of great fights. He was coming in off that Dan Hooker win. And, you know, he had wars back in the day with Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje. We know the legend that Dustin Poirier is. Make no mistake. Dustin Poirier didn't have a single motherfucking Instagram edit. He wasn't, you know, everybody's favorite fighter that you ask now, just these random kind of casuals. You know, a lot of people love Dustin Poirier. Poirier was nowhere near the fucking relevancy that he gained after his 2 fights with Conor McGregor in 2021. The second fight, the rematch on Fight Island, and then of course Vegas UFC 264. When he beat Conor McGregor, that changed Dustin Poirier's life. Dustin Poirier would have never fought for the BMF title against Max. He would have never fought for the BMF title against Justin Gaethje. He would not have had any of these opportunities if it was not for Conor McGregor coming back and fighting him in 2021 and skyrocketing his star power because he lost to Dustin Poirier. And Dustin Poirier would not have all of these random fans that came out from the woodwork in the bushes in 2021 if it was not for Conor McGregor. And people want to act like Dustin Poirier is this big star. You know, later in his career, he kind of got that legend status, that kind of celebrity status, especially in his retirement fight. It's because of McGregor. It's all because of McGregor. We all owe McGregor a huge thank you for what he did to the UFC. Khabib, Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, they should all be writing love letters to this motherfucker because of how much he helped their career. It was because of McGregor. McGregor's always the A side. Max Holloway, like I said, this is going to be the biggest opportunity that he's ever had in his entire life, and it's not even close. He's set for life after this. Break out the red panties. And I have been seeing people say, well, why do we even care that Conor McGregor is coming back? He's 37, he's washed, he's a cokehead. I don't give a fuck if he walks into the octagon chugging a bottle of Proper 12. Conor McGregor is absolute cinema every single time. I don't want to hear any fucking slander. I don't, because Conor McGregor is my boy, and he got most of us into the fucking sport. Back in the day, 2016, 2017. He's the reason we got into the fucking sport in the first place. People in my generation, you know, Gen Z, who were watching, you know, around that time, or starting to watch around that time. McGregor was always the biggest name. There's always something in the air when McGregor's booked. Ever since this fight with Holloway has been announced, McGregor's the top headline. You know, Hamzat, Ilya versus Justin Gaethje on the White House card. Dude, a McGregor announcement blows that shit out of the water. 100%. And I don't care if he's washed. I don't care if he does blow. I don't care if he's a fucking drunk. I don't care if he looks like shit and gets TKO'd versus Max Holloway in the first round, which is most likely what's going to happen. Conor McGregor, the aura, the mystique, the personality at the press conferences, even if it's not the same as it was in 2016, we're not reaching for those vibes. It's still different. But you can't act like him on the ground after a broken fucking ankle. Anybody else, any other fighter is going to be crying, oh, you know, Bilal Muhammad, the main event of the fucking card this coming weekend. Bilal Muhammad was crying, oh, I you know, hit in the eye. This is going to mess up my title shot. Dude, Conor's career got ripped from him completely when he broke his leg. He knew in that moment nothing's ever going to be the same. Guess what he still did? He was still fucking performing for the fans. Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby.
I was boxing the bleeding head off him, kicking the bleeding leg off him. Usual side dive to close the distance. This is not over. If we had to take this outside with him, it's all outside. Your wife is in me DMs, hey baby.
No other fighter in UFC history would even have the fucking audacity to say that, let alone after you already broke your leg. You know, the most anticlimactic fight in UFC history, UFC 364, McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. I remember my heart got shattered when, McGregor broke his leg because we didn't get to see the fight play out. Now, he was probably en route to losing, but you gotta see the fight play out. You want him to go out on his shield, he breaks his leg. Guess what? He still makes a fucking show out of it. He's still entertaining. Conor McGregor, after breaking his fucking leg, was still more entertaining than 99.9% of the UFC roster. After he broke his fucking leg, he's not even throwing punches and kicks anymore. Conor McGregor's a legend. Don't disrespect him. The outcome of this fight doesn't matter. He's the biggest legend in UFC history, and we should put respect on his name before he's gone. I'm sick and tired of the slander. That's my rant for the day. If you guys agree with me, leave a like, comment, subscribe. That means a lot to me, and have a great rest of your day.